less like a rubber stamp. Is that clear? So, two more things about this slide. The validation testing, we talked about evaluative testing and how scary it is and risky it is for companies to just do that kind of research at the launch or just prior to the launch, because then it's too late to actually make major changes. So one thing I'd like you to just be aware of is validation testing is very important for predictive modeling. A lot of companies like Amazon, like Microsoft, they're trying to predict your behavior, right? It's an important part of the bottom line. If they know that I just bought Jacob Nielsen's usability book, they want to tell me, oh, Jacob Nielsen just came out with this other book. Don't you want to buy that one too? It's called upselling. And marketing researchers, not usability researchers, love predictive modeling, right? Because it raises sales. And you as a customer feel like you're treated special, like they know something about you. And those recommendation systems through a lot of different e-commerce sites really do impact the user experience because it's customized to your preferences and your behavior. So it's not that this isn't important, but I just want to underscore for you the importance of doing it in addition to insightful or qualitative data. A few more slides and then I'll give you some examples. So we've talked a little bit about quantitative, but I wanted to just give you the jargon. There's a lot of different ways of describing a researcher: usability engineer, user experience architect, usability analyst. There's just many, many, many terms. But basically, we're looking at measuring and benchmarking the experience, whether it's for predictive modeling or just basic task completion. A lot of quantitative researchers start with basic satisfaction scores. Those are important for things like customer support satisfaction. How often when you call a tech line do they say, would you be willing to answer 2 questions at the end of this call? Well, those are important measures for a company to know how satisfied a customer is. Task completion time, error recovery rates are also measures that are pretty standard across the industry, regardless of the type of website. Completion time used to be really, really popular for companies like IBM when productivity was the key. You know, it was sort of pre-web age, pre-digital age, when it was like, okay, typists, are they typing and are they purchasing this number of items per day? Completion time now is much more around success, right? Were they able to do what they wanted to do in a reasonable time frame? And were they able to recover from errors without calling tech support or emailing support or asking a colleague or taking a training course? Lastly, quantitative measures that are more and more, since the web, typical is conversion rates. I don't know whether any of you have worked on projects where the bottom line is increasing conversion by 0.5%. Well, that translates into millions of dollars when you're talking about eBay or Amazon. Conversion rate is how many people log on, put something in their cart, whatever it is, and buy it. They convert from browsers to purchasers. So purchase success, download success when you're talking about downloadable games. A lot of times people purchase the game or download the trial, but then have trouble purchasing the game because the trials only last 60 minutes. So you're mid-game, you want to keep everything that you've done and succeeded in the game, and then they get stuck in the purchase process and they have to start the game all over. Now, how frustrating an experience is that?
Well, hour into the game.
An hour into the game! And this is an acronym that we can skip.
Julie, could you say where another usability tool we've been using has been heuristic testing? Could you say where that sort of fits in with this?
Heuristic is when we switch to qualitative data, and the reason it's not quantitative is it's because it's one expert's opinion. Heuristic evaluation is an evaluator as opposed to an end user giving his opinion, his or her opinion.
So it's
Heuristic
different than
research-
the satisfaction scores because it's the expert versus the user.
And because the focus is on, the heuristic is a rule, right? The
Right.
user interface design rule, like one of the Nielsen heuristics is, can they recover from errors? So the expert might go in and try a game and then try to purchase it and then not be able to recover from that and have to go in and purchase the new game again. So that would be an example where the expert was unable to recover from an error and the reason was X, Y, and Z, and the navigation or the UI flow has to change according to that expert. But it's not a quantitative tool. If you look on the, here, let's see, where is it? It's not on here. So where would this be? In which quadrant do you think?
Like with the upper right?
I think so too. I think so too. And again, it would be way in the up because it's the expert and not the user. That's probably why it isn't on here.
Right.
Because it isn't it's a research method that I find only useful at very, very, very early in the paper prototyping phase.
So it kind of sits outside of this universe of researching because it's not really user driven.
Right, and the reason why users can't use it is because they don't have
They're not the
know the
expert,
jargon,
yeah.
and they just know it doesn't work
Yeah, right.
the way they expect.
Thank you.
Sure. So the most important thing, and these are just examples, I didn't design these, so I wish I could give credit because they're beautiful. But I noticed you had Tufty books here on your shelf in your office. And I don't know how many of you, I'll show you Tufty on Amazon later so we don't have to waste time. But how you visualize the quantitative data that you collect is essential to whether or not the company can digest and absorb and interpret that data. So visualization of the data is tangible. You can collect a lot of juicy data, but unless you have a context of why